In the last interaction class, we understood that the type of plants and animals vary from place to place. Those in mountains are different from deserts and coastal areas. This is clear from table 9.1 in the textbook. Though the plants and animals vary from place to place, the surroundings of places where a plant or animal grow is called its habitat. These organisms depend for food, water, air, shelter and other needs on their habitat. Several kinds of plants and animals share the same habitat. This habitat can be land or terrestrial habitat or water or aquatic habitat. The plants and animals in their habitat has developed certain features that help them to live in their habitat. These features are called adaptations. For example, it is adaptations that help a camel to survive easily in a desert without drinking water. The ability to float on water is an adaptation developed by water lily to grow successfully in water. Have you heard of Sherpas? They live high on mountains. It is very difficult for everyone to breathe easily in these areas, but those living there have no problem. Can this be called an adaptation? No, it is not an adaptation. This phenomenon is called acclimatization or acclimation. These are changes that take place in the body over a short period of time, whereas adaptations it need thousands of years to form. Now coming back to habitat. A habitat has plants and animals. Are they related to each other? Plants make food. This food is eaten by herbivores, which are in turn eaten by carnivores. The body of all these are acted upon by bacteria and fungi. They add materials from their body to the soil. These nutrients are absorbed by plants along with water. They use water, CO2 and sunlight to make food, and this cycle goes on. Who are the living components here and who are the non-living components? The living components are called biotic components and the non-living ones are called abiotic components. These components depend on each other for life. Take for petri dish, a cotton or paper, soaked seeds and dry seeds. Divide the soaked seeds into 4 parts. Keep one part completely submerged in water for 3-4 days. Keep one in a sunny room and the other in a dark area like inside the cupboard that does not get any sunlight. Keep the last part in a cold area like a refrigerator. Water from these 4 must be drained and filled with new water. What happens to all these 5 sections of seeds? Why? Note down your observations and inference in biology notebook.